Hello, everybody. And I saw some names that came in, and I can see some of those people were on our senior tour of Santillana, and welcome back. And I'm just thrilled, beyond thrilled for this honor to be able to participate with the UCSD Retirement Association. Suzanne, thank you. And the board, I can't thank you enough for allowing me this opportunity to do this presentation, and then the senior tours that we now have booked all the way through September, I think. I think we're already booked through September. In terms of the one coming up for the 19th, you're right. And in addition, I just got an email this morning that the CEO of Belmont Village, the CEO of the whole company, will be in our presence on Tuesday, Patricia Will. And she has a great story to tell. So I do hope that we fill those I'm sure we will fill those last few seats. So today's topic is senior real estate options, and we'll get right into it. So here's again, for who I am, just again, to introduce myself, I'm Ron Greenwald, and I have been the honor of being part of the UCSD Retirement Association for 10 plus years, and we are dedicated you can see I'm in the middle there, have been dedicated to providing information and resources above and beyond all else to our older adults who are looking for options and answers as they move into the journey of what to do about their living arrangements. So we're here, the tagline is, we're here to make the rest of your life the best of your life. And we really honor that thought, and we are here to support that thought. So again, we're always here to answer questions. So senior stay or go, actually part of the discussion is next week is the stay part. Today is more about the options of go. Real estate answers, senior stay or go, is that what can we do to help you stay safe in your home as you age in place? And that is so important. What they call universal design now are options that we will talk about at length next week on the 20th, in terms of things that you can do using technology and just simple things that you can do to make your house as safe as possible to stop that fall from happening. So that's the stay part. Today, we're more focused on the go part. Again, one of our objectives is, so we want you to have a lot of good information. We do not want you to have to make a decision in crisis mode. Something happens to your health, and then unfortunately, this is too often the case where you're making the decision under duress, as opposed to now, for those that are taking the tour and on this this Zoom and on Zoom next week, you'll have a lot of good information that you can share with your family members, so that when the time comes for you to make some decisions as to your living arrangements, you will know exactly what you want, and you will be in charge of that decision-making process, not somebody else who doesn't know the facts like you do. So enjoy life. It has an expiration date, and we really want you to understand the options that you have moving forward. This is actually next week. So for those that are going to be around on, I think it's a week from today, home safety tips for adult aging in place. We've done this workshop before. It's on YouTube, on the UCSD web YouTube page. It holds a lot of very simple things that you can do to keep your home safe. And then obviously using today's technology that would take a little bit of renovation in the home. But go ahead and watch it and join in next week for us on that one. So today's presentation will focus on options, what we call right sizing instead of downsizing, and the senior communities that we have that have sprouted up throughout San Diego County. And it's not just San Diego County. Again, they're all over the country. Obviously, they're actually in Mexico, as there's a lot of people have found senior community living on the coast in Baja as well. So we're focusing on that you've been in your home for 30, 40, we've dealt with people 60 plus years in their home. We know that this is highly, highly emotionally charged. If you brought up your children, and even if some people have brought up their grandchildren in the home, that all of a sudden the idea of leaving that home for a different setting is highly emotional, highly charged, and highly personal to your needs and wants. this is what we're going to talk about today. So right sizing would be to a smaller home, a smaller footprint, maybe from a 2-story to a single story, from a home with lots of land, or to a condominium where you're not having to deal with all the maintenance issues, or to a senior living community where sometimes we refer to as a cruise ship in dry dock. The outline of today is the field of life. And for those that have been with us before, you know what that's going to be about. And we're going to go over that again at length, because a lot of things have changed over the last couple of years, both legally and financially. We'll go over some of the financial and legal issues, home care, housing options, what to do with all the stuff, the move itself, and then selling a home. Actually, selling the home in today's market right today is maybe not, I hate to hate it's the easiest part, but it's the least of the journey for you. This is our field of life. And I would ask that for those in the audience, we can get, if you have a copy of this, we can get you a copy of this and put it on your refrigerator. This should be tagged on everybody's refrigerator, because this is your team at work on your behalf every day, 365 days a year. We want all these players to be on your, calling on you to help you navigate your journey as you decide whether you stay in age in place, stay in your home, or what should you do to help your health and safety thrive. So again, if you go down to the left of this screen, you'll see team owner. You are the owner of your team. You are in control, and that's really what's important. Then you can see right below that, team owner is the general manager, should be your estate planning attorney. When is the last time you dusted off your estate plan? Has anything changed in your life over the last year, COVID era, the last 5 years, that would want you to rethink how your trust is set up, how your will and your trust, how your wishes are to be fulfilled? Has anything changed? Has anything changed with your children, your in-laws, your grandchildren, and going down the line? So really think about that. Again, you may have done your trust when you were in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. And now the first baby boomers, believe it or not, are turning 80 in a couple years. And really, senior community, the average age in a senior community starts around the high 70s to early 80s. So there is going to be a demographic boom moving into senior community world, and make sure that your will and trust reflects your wishes. Coach, we have a professional fiduciary, but really the trustee of your trust is also the coach. So you can be both, you can be the owner of your team, and you're also the coach of your team, in the sense that you are the trustee of your trust. Or some people decide to relinquish that role as trustee and hire what they call a California licensed private fiduciary. And that's a discussion for another day. If you go to the right of the field of life, you'll see visitors dugout. And that has what your board at the UCSD Retirement Association has been so gracious to allow us the opportunity for you to visit these senior communities all around San Diego County. So again, the idea of visiting the senior community is for you to understand if and when the time may come that you decide the highest and best quality of life for you is not in your current home or buying another home, but moving to a senior community. You will have eaten the food of these senior communities. You'll have met the personnel of these senior communities and the residents of the communities, so that you know where your comfort level lies. And that way, when the decision has to be made, you're ready to go. So again, the field of life will throw you a curveball, pitcher's mound, the catcher's area. Life is going to throw you a curveball. We know that. COVID, health, just only know something's going to happen. So do you have all of these position players ready to go to help you make and navigate the best decisions? So we're going to go and turn the page for 1 second, but kind of keep thinking about the baseball diamond as we go through the next slide. Financial and legal. Let's talk about capital gains. We know what the price of homes have done over the last 2.5 years. They have skyrocketed. We have seen prices that were $1 million go to 2 million, 2 million to 4 million, 4 million to 7 million here in Southern California. So capital gains taxation on the sale of a residence is something that you should know about. So who do we have on, if you go back to the diamond, on first base is our CPA, your tax advisor. So I'm asking you right now, if you were to sell your home for $3 or $4 million and you owe 0 on it, what is your net going to be, and how much of that would go to Uncle Sam at the end of the day? And what we can do for you is get you what they call an estimated net sheet on the sale of your residence based on an estimated selling price. We can have the escrow companies located through San Diego provide us what they call an estimated net sheet based on the selling price and the cost of selling a home. And then you could take that and take it and go see your tax advisor. And that tax advisor can then help you determine how much capital gains you would have to pay. So how that works, on the sale of a personal residence, the first $500,000 on the gain of the sale of a personal residence is exempt from capital gains taxation. So it's really after that, how much gain do you have? You purchased a home for $250,000 here in San Diego back in the 70s. You're selling it for $2 million, and you have a $500,000 exemption. Your gain, I know it's math and we're trying to do this on Zoom, but your gain is really after you've added all the improvements you've made to the home, plus what you paid for the home. Less, obviously, selling price, less cost of the home, less all the improvements you made to the home, less the $500,000 exemption. And candidly, on a Zoom call, I can tell you, you can be very flexible with trying to calculate how much capital improvements you made to the home. New kitchens, new bathrooms, painting, landscaping, refurbishing, flooring, all of those things. You may not have records going back 30 or 40 years, and we certainly get that. But if you have a good tax advisor, they will give you good advice as to what is reasonable to say over the last 20, 30, 40 years you've spent on improvements that we can then add to the cost that you paid for the home so that your capital gains tax is less than what you may think. So very important if you're planning on selling your home. Cash flow expectations, the second one. Financial advisor, second base, okay? If you are planning to stay in your home, or if you're planning to move to a senior community and your life, again, we have to get into life expectancy and things like that. There's a lot of centenarians at senior communities today, which is a fabulous thing because they really do thrive. Will your cash be there throughout your life expectancy? These senior communities that we are going to visit throughout this year, the monthly cost to pay for these can be on the low end, will probably be $4,000 to $5,000 a month. On the higher end, the expectations, you have to think 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,000 and higher, depending on level of services and the community themselves. So how much, again, cash flow wise, expectation wise, life expectancy wise, will your cash flow be there? Again, that's the job of if you have a financial advisor, you can also work with your CPA on that. So you have a comfort level that the cash flow will be there over a period of years. Prop 19, and that's really that has to do with taxes. So Prop 19 was passed in 2020. It's not really a great benefit for your heirs as it is for you if you do decide to sell your current home and buy another property. You can carry over your current property tax basis, very different than capital gains, to the new home that you purchase. Now, there are caveats. If you sell for $2 million and buy a property out of a higher value, it becomes a hybrid situation of carrying over your lower tax base. If you buy lower, then you can carry over your current property tax base to the new property. And what Proposition 19 did is it allowed it to be active anywhere in the state of California. So you do not have to stay in the county of San Diego anymore to utilize the Prop 19 advantage. Again, if you're going to leave your property to your children, go and talk to your tax advisor about that. It's the whole rules of the game changed about leaving property to children that are not planning to live in that property. Then the tax basis the property tax basis may not carry over. A lot of legal stuff talking about, but it's very important as you get this all ironed out. Capital gains, cash flow, Prop 19. Step up in basis, proper titling to the property. This is going to be an area where you can literally wipe out capital gains upon the passing. If you're a husband and wife and the husband were to pass away and you have your home properly titled in the trust, you get what they call a full, currently under current tax law, you get what they call a full step up in basis to current fair market value. So you as the surviving spouse could therefore sell the property and have wipe out the capital gains issue. Again, that's the way step up in basis works. So just be aware of that issue if you want to hold on to the property and at some point in time there is a spouse that were to pass away, you could sell the property if the laws stay the same and avoid any capital gains. That's why you want to check with your estate planning attorney, going back to the general manager on the field of life to make sure that your assets are properly titled in the name of your trust. And then on the far right-hand side of this screen, you have financial resources, long-term care insurance. If you have a policy of long-term care insurance that is actually going to work for you, that is something that can pay for living at a senior community and for home care. So if you go back to the field of life, you have the third base side, you have home care. If you're going to bring in care, a long-term care policy may be able to pay for some of those services. If you're going to move to a senior community, again, long-term care can kick in under certain circumstances to pay for the monthly cost of a senior community. I highly recommend that if you haven't pulled that policy out, you pull it out and read it through. There are advocates that we can refer you to that can help you get that money. Long-term care is an insurance policy, and therefore the insurance companies, like all insurance companies, are going to look for ways maybe not to fully give you your rightful income that you've paid all these years into. So there are people that will advocate on your behalf and, quote, if you want to call it, fight for you when you need to pull that long-term care insurance into play. So those are the financial and legal issues that are very, very important to help you navigate whether you age in place, you right size, or you move to a senior community. Again, a lot of legal beagle stuff there. Email me, and obviously I'm not an attorney. I don't practice law. I don't practice accounting, but I do know the right people. If you don't have somebody that you are already on your field of life and you're looking for some new players in your field of life, well, first of all, UCSD has them all on. Heidi Klimpel, you have Heidi, you have Ryan Hislop for financial advice. You have Heidi Klimpel as an estate planning attorney. And I can't remember everybody else off the top of my head, but I know Suzanne can provide you links to everybody who's involved with this field of life. Aging Life Care Organization. This is and we're going to go back to shortstop on the field of life, Aging Life Specialist. I think this is one of the most important positions on the field of life, is that shortstop position, and call it an aging life specialist. And again, I know Suzanne has referrals for that as well. I can't stress enough my feeling on the importance of what they do. They are your advocate for healthcare. You may have your advocate for finance, for everything else. I mean, you go get your car tuned up twice, every 5,000 miles, you get a lube and oil change. You have your doctors, you have all of those players. But who is advocating for you when you go to that doctor to say drug interactions? And are you going to be able to question the doctor as to really what's ailing you, and without just agreeing whatever the doctor says? An aging life care specialist is someone who can, I'm going to use the word, compete with the doctor to say, no, we have, here's the drug interactions that we're dealing with. We don't agree with this new drug prescription, or this is the feedback that you're giving the aging life specialist to provide to the doctor, because we don't know, we're not doctors. But an aging life specialist is someone who's not a doctor, but they usually come from a nursing background, who can be your advocate for you for your healthcare decisions, as opposed to your children trying to be your doctor and telling you what medicines and what to go to doctor to see. These are really experts in the field. So we've covered first base with the CPA, shortstop with aging life specialist, second base and home on the infield of the field of life. Housing options. We're back actually to taking a cruise. There are people that will be on cruise ships 300 days a year and then find a place to hunker down for, they'll stay with their children, or what the millennials, or I don't know millennials anymore, they call it surf couching. They'll find people to stay with. But they do have doctors and nurses on cruise ships, and there are people that will use that as their senior community. They will use a cruise ship as their senior community. So if that's something that is of interest to you, I know they're back up and running. Home share, that is one that I would always be very, very careful with. People will say, I have extra rooms and I'm going to rent out rooms in my home so that I can reduce the cost of maintaining my home and actually have some income. I don't need, 5 bedrooms. I just need the 1 bedroom and the kitchen and the bathroom. I will rent out some rooms. I would just beg you not to do that on your own. I mean, really find somebody who can do FBI background checks and really vet the people that are coming to stay with you. Or if you decide to go live with someone else and you think that's a way to reduce your overhead, the number one way to be taken advantage of is to bring that wrong person into your home. We have cases where Patti and I had to sell property because a gentleman thought he was bringing somebody into a home that was going to help share the expenses, but ended up really getting all his bank account information and really bleeding him dry for several years until the children knew what was happening. So just be very, very careful. Move in with relatives. That is certainly an option, but most people want their independence and don't want to be told. The role reversal, when that happens, of the parent becoming the child and the child pretending they're the parent, is something that we see very often, and is, it's not the most comfortable way to have your golden years, is to be. And again, it can work if you want to do it, great, but just know, I don't know. I don't want to do it myself. I don't want my children, whatever. Okay, here we go. We're back. We're going to go into housing options. Age restricted only, independent living community, assisted living, memory care, CCRC. What does that mean? Retirement community, and board and care. A lot of different options. So age restricted only in the county of San Diego is, if you're familiar with Oceanside, there's a very large community called Ocean Hills Country Club. It's at the east end of Oceanside. It's about 1,200 homes where you own your home, just like you own your home now. No difference. There is a significant HOA fee because they have like a 30, 40,000 square foot clubhouse. They've got pickleball, they've got pools, they've got a golf course, they've got it all in a very active group. But you own your own home, so you're still maintaining the roof, you're still maintaining the yard, but there is a substantial HOA for a lot of the exterior work. So it's not like you have to deal with a lot of yard work, but there's a patio areas that you would have to maintain. Some of the others around town that you may be familiar with, and I'll just run down this list. Auberge is a fairly new community out in 92127, what they call the Del Sur area of San Diego, near the 15, east of Fairbanks Ranch, east of Rancho Santa Fe. And it's a condominium complex, but they have elevators going up to the second, third, and fourth floor. And it's a 55 plus living community. Bernardo Oaks, Seven Oaks, and Rancho Bernardo. Again, that is a mixture of single family detached homes and condominiums, very large and expansive areas. They do have a clubhouse, they have the pool, they have the golf course out in the 92128 zip code. Pacific Regions is truly a hybrid. That's on Nobel Drive. And again, if you're in La Jolla area, it's right next to the new Belmont Village, La Jolla. And that's really a hybrid where you do own the condominium, but you're paying very high monthly fees to enjoy their restaurant. So it's a real hybrid of owning a condominium and having the advantages of a senior community. Rancho Carlsbad, Oceana. Rancho Carlsbad is where you own the land. It's 55 plus. It's off of El Camino Real, North Carlsbad, where you own the land. But it's not, the word mobile home doesn't apply to this because these things are amazing. They are now running $700,000 to $800,000 to buy into those homes. But it's it is a 55 plus community, but you own the land, so you can use it in that purpose. 55 plus apartments. They're located in various locations around San Diego. The one I forgot, Encinitas. I can't think of the one. There's one in Encinitas. There's a small community in Encinitas that's 55 plus where you own the home. And again, has a small golf course and a pool. So that's 55 plus age restricted communities where you are buying a piece of property. Independent and assisted living communities. This is what we're doing a lot of the tours of. And we were just on the top one, you'll see Oakmont. And Oakmont is where we are at a community called Santa Ana in Carlsbad. Santa Ana is their newest entree into senior living owned by the Oakmont Corporation. It's kind of what you want to call 5-star living in a senior community. Some of the other ones that you were going to visit, Merrill Gardens, there's Merrill Gardens, Bankers Hill. We're visiting that in May. So again, Bankers Hill, right there. If you want to walk to the Old Globe, if you want to walk to the park, if you're a good walker and you like to get around and you like that downtown urban lifestyle, this might be a place to come and visit and see for yourself. If you can get fortunate enough to get a top floor west-southwest view, you got an amazing view of the bay and the airport and Point Loma. That would be Belmont. And now these have independent and assisted living where you're paying month-to-month expenses. That month-to-month is going to include laundry, cleaning, food, entertainment, all of the features that you want, socialization and food. It's all, socialization and food is what really helps people thrive as opposed to living alone. Silvergate, they have a brand new, it's about a year or two old. It did open during COVID. It's called Silvergate Rancho Bernardo. It is an amazing campus. We don't use the F word in this. We don't use the facility word. We say either community or campus. Rancho Bernardo. Atria Westmont. Westmont, I'll give you a little inside scoop on Westmont. They do have several communities around town, but they are under construction on one in Carmel Valley that's supposed to be up hopefully by the end of 2023. If you want more information on that and try to get in on that literally on the ground floor as they're under construction, let me know and I can put you in contact with their marketing people. It's going to be really quite beautiful from all the amenities, the pools, the bocce ball courts, to the pickleball, everything. And it's being built, if you're in the area, right by Cathedral Catholic High School, if you know where that is, off of Del Mar Heights and the 56. Wesley Palms is in PB. And when it says comma front porch. Front porch is a nonprofit that runs Wesley Palms. They have several communities here in San Diego. Front Porch runs Wesley Palms. They run Frederica Manor, which is down in National City. You may know somebody down there. They run Carlsbad by the Sea. And I can just tell you, if you haven't been up by there, that's right in downtown Carlsbad. And they have about a 5 to 10 year wait list. The other thing I can tell you is a lot of people want 2-bedroom apartments and they go very, very quickly. So if you're even thinking that this is something you want to entertain at any of these communities and you want a 2-bedroom, I'm just telling you now, put your name on the wait list. Or if you're thinking that you're one that you have or some flexibility and you are thinking that you want to make a move, you may have to start in with a studio or 1-bedroom and then wait. And then they will move. Obviously, you go to the top of the list if a 2-bedroom becomes available. We all understand the times have changed over the last 10 years in terms of people have computers and they want like an office setting. So they did not build enough 2-bedroom units at all in any of these communities. And now they're scrambling with back orders, so to speak, with lists of people that want the 2-bedroom. So if you're thinking about this at all in any of these communities, you may just say, I want to put my name on a list for a 2-bedroom now. Again, doesn't mean you have to take it when it becomes available. They may ask for $1,000, $2,000 hold, which is refundable if you decide not to do it. But just be proactive so that if it comes available and this is something you want to do at that time, you're not way down at the bottom of these lists. Going down Casa de Mañana, we're going to visit that community June or July. Brookdale has communities throughout. Sunrise is more strictly assisted living. You can see the tag. I'm just looking at, I got plenty of time. Placement professional. What is a placement professional? Patti and I and Katie, who's here with us, and we do not do placement. We are real estate people. We make a living when people buy and or sell real estate. Placement professional, I'm sure you watch commercials, a place for mom. A place for mom is basically an internet portal that says they are a placement professional. But what you want is somebody who acts like a real estate agent, who will get you in the car. And if you want to do all of these on your own, you can do that. You can certainly call all of these communities and go visit them on your own, or join us as we go through the year 2022 and visit these communities. But a placement professional acts kind of like a real estate agent, where they will set up appointments for you to visit the communities that they think after they interview you and they get your feedback, they will recommend certain communities, and then they will go visit with you to those communities and give you the pluses and minuses and get your feedback. Full transparency, how do they get paid? The majority of these communities will pay a referral fee to a placement professional. So you don't actually have to write a check to a placement professional to be able to utilize their services. If you utilize their services and don't do anything, they don't get paid. If you decide that they show you a community such as Oakmont and you move to Oakmont, they get a referral fee paid by Oakmont. It's all built into the overhead of a senior living community. Again, if you have any questions on that, feel free to call us. Memory care. If you are looking for memory care only, here's a list Monarch Colleges is right in, I think on Pearl Street, right in downtown La Jolla. It has, I think, only 12 to 16, 20 rooms, very high end, very one-on-one service. So if memory care is the only option, if that's what you want, you just want a smaller, more intimate community that has memory care, then you may want to take a look at these. But let me go back. Many of these communities also have memory care. Oakmont, Belmont, Westmont, they will have all what they call 3 levels of care: independent care, assisted, and memory. So when you go, and I think, and no, I don't think, I hope, I don't see it attached. We created, actually, Suzanne and her staff and team created a list of questions that you should have when you go visit these communities. So for those that are coming on the 19th to Belmont, get that list of questions and bring them with you to make sure all of your questions are answered or addressed. And those lists of questions will get your mind thinking and may come up with new questions. Because, so for one, the most common question is, if I move into assisted living, will I have to move out of my apartment if I need assisted living? Some communities are a yes, some communities are a no. So that's a key question. Can I stay in my apartment that I first come into if I need, all of a sudden go from independent to the needs of assisted living? If it's a couple and one of the members of one of the spouses all of a sudden develops memory care issues, what is the level of care that will allow us to stay in our apartment together? Can I bring in 24-hour care to the apartment so that we can stay together? Or would that community insist at a certain point of time, if that person with memory issues is a flight risk, would they have to move into memory care unit? And I hate to use the word unit, but memory care units are usually under lockdown, where if somebody were to open a door, the alarm goes off, because people, memory care and wandering is a big, getting lost is a big issue. So those are just some of the key questions you want to ask. The other big question always is, you're quoting me a price per month of $6,000, $7,000 a year. It includes what exactly? And then if my needs increase in terms of medical needs and assisted living needs, how do I pay for that? Or how do I get charged for that on a monthly basis? What extra charges are going to be incurred? What's included, what's not included? And then yearly increases. You have to go in expecting a 3 to 5% increase on a yearly basis if you're paying month to month. And that's just some of the quick questions. I see we're going to get to questions at the end here. CCRC, Continuing Care Residential Community. And what does that mean? Continuing Care Residential Community is, in theory, not in theory, they have to, by law, have to have all 4 levels of care. So that would be independent, assisted, memory, and skilled nursing on the same campus setting. So in theory, you are never have to leave that community area and be, quote, sent someplace else. On these other communities, if you need to go to skilled, they don't have skilled nursing on site. They are going to, if you go into the hospital and you have to go to skilled nursing, you're not coming back to Oakmont at that time. Hopefully at some point in time you get well enough, you can come back to Santa Ana or Oakmont, but you're gonna go someplace else in the interim. Here, these have skilled nursing on site, and you should carry priority that if their skilled nursing is filled, that you still have space available. Again, the question is, can you stay in your apartment if you all of a sudden you need memory care, or you have to move to the memory care unit? The V right in downtown, well, it's UTC, the 2 high rises. It's real close to the Belmont. We will be visiting there, I think, in September. White Sands, downtown La Jolla, La Costa Glen, Carlsbad, Scripps Glen. These are sister communities, La Costa Glen, Scripps Glen, same owner. One's out in Scripps Ranch, just opened during COVID. Casa de las Campanas is over there in Rancho Bernardo, overlooking Lake Hodges. And Federica Manor, I believe, works more like a hybrid. And they have really beautiful cottages at Federica Manor. It's really quite a beautiful campus if you go down there to visit, and that would be Federica Manor. Board and care. Board and care, you may have a board and care right in your neighborhood. Board and care are single-story homes that are converted to exactly what the term means. They are usually high-level, one-on-one. They're usually 4 to 6 bedrooms, usually 6 to 8 people living there with high level of need is a board and care. Less expensive. They don't have the amenities that a senior community would have. So it's a single story home. There's probably 200-300 of them located in San Diego County. Some of them are really quite beautiful with beautiful views. There's a couple in Solana Beach that I'm aware of. Again, something that your placement person could at least show if that kind of level of care is what you're looking for, and that intimacy of a small type of setting, then that's something to look at. So if we go back a little bit to our field of life, again, now we're kind of the visitors dugout over there, senior living community. We talked about that. And then over in right field, we talked about placement, the person that can take you in the car and show you all of these communities. And the bottom line of all of this is a lot to consider, but what one is right for you. And again, when the time comes, we don't want to make this decision in crisis mode. We want you to, I love the staff, I love the vibe at Belmont, and that's where I want to be, or whichever one it is, whichever one. And their food was the bomb, as they say, and that's where I want to go. And they had flexibility with food. Not everybody, are they flexible with dietary? There's another question to ask. Are they flexible with dietary restrictions? Salt, no salt, rich, non-rich. How many times are you able, the eating process, are they open 24/7? Do they have a lot of these have lounges that you can eat at? They have takeout, all kinds of amenities for the food, but what serves your needs the best? So ask them about the chef. Where did the chef come from? What is his or her background? And those kind of questions. So you really get to know what you're working with. The stuff. This I could spend about a year on, having done this a lot. So we know the biggest impediment for most people to move to a senior community is they are moving from 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, and they've lived in there 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You have accumulated a lot of stuff. And now if you're right sizing to a smaller home, or you're right sizing to a community, even if you're going to a 2-bedroom, you're maybe looking at 800 to 1,200 square feet of living space. What are you going to take with you? So again, we see the word emotional attachment. Many of these items in your home have no monetary value, but they have huge, huge emotional attachment. So what we recommend is a journey. If you are thinking that if it's a year, 2 years, even 5 years out before you are really adamant that you don't think you want to stay in your home anymore, you can start the journey of declutterization, if you want to use that term, today in a fun way, by getting the kids, the grandkids, the cousins, the nephews, the aunts, the uncles, the friends, whoever it is that you treasure in your life, get them to come into the home, go to Amazon, go to Staples if they still exist, and get those little colored stickies, the blue, the red, the pink, the green, the orange, the little, the peel and stick, little round little stickies, and have a good time and say, everybody, go put the stickies on what you want from me, and that I wish to give away. If it's something that I wish that when I'm talking, you wish to give away, then have a good time at it and see what they may want to take now while you're living in the home to start the declutterization process. And you're going to find a lot of joy in the fact that they cherish something that you had really didn't even know it existed probably in the home. But for some reason, a son, a daughter, a grandson, a granddaughter cherished because that was some family memory that they've had all these years, and they would love it in their house. It's going to give you great joy to say, here, it's a pleasure to give this to you now, rather than waiting for some period of time. So again, what you think nobody wants, you may actually think somebody wants it. So that's journey number one. And then the other type is, garage sale, we'll get into that down the road. And you can see the sticky note party down at the bottom here, the sticky note party. Nobody wants it. I can't, it's hard to come to grips with that for many people, that the monetary value of the items you bought in Europe, that you bought in Asia, throughout your business career, throughout your lifespan, your travels, that you brought over back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, is going for pennies on the dollar on eBay or Craigslist or any of those portals. It's distressing and disappointing, but it's the facts. The World War II generation accumulated a lot of items after World War II in the 50s and 60s, and all of those items, if you want to use the word, got dumped into the marketplace in the last 15 to 20 years, and now the values of them have gone down substantially. But still, very valuable to get somebody into your house to assess the items of what monetary value they have, and to see what is the most cost-efficient way for you to think about removing those items if you want to. So it's a paralysis by analysis. We highly recommend if a 10-round battle of what to take, what not to take. It's really we want you to make those decisions, as opposed to you getting into a battle with loved ones over items that you want to keep or not keep. But have realistic expectations, and then have that sticky note party. So who can help you navigate all this? And instead of having your family help you navigate this, you navigate this. And I'm going to take a detour for 1 second, and I know I'm shifting back to the field of life, is we talk senior move manager over there in right field. And that's what I'm going to talk about, of who is the best person to navigate for you. Believe it or not, I'm going to now fast forward back to where I am going. You see over here, NASMM. Believe it or not, in today's society, we have the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And that is an organization that's like three or four companies here in San Diego that are the people that can come out and help you decide if you are going to right size or move to a senior community and are going to bring your space down. What are the best items to take? Do you take any of it? Or do you go and buy all new and just create a whole new environment? But certain things you are going to take. And the people that run a senior move management company can be your interior designer. They can be your packer. They can be your sorter. They can help you do all of it for a fee, obviously. And they can either quote you by the hour or a flat fee, so that you are in charge of what's going on, but you don't have to get the approval of all the family members. You are in charge, and they are the ones helping you navigate that journey, so that when you do make that move, your new home is going to be all interior decorated, and the box is emptied when you move into that new space, that new apartment in that senior community. Because 99% of the time, if you do not use someone to help you with a move, the boxes stay full for 6 months to a year. And that is not what brings one joy, is to walk into a smaller space and see a boatload filled of boxes that you really don't even remember what's in and never get emptied. It just doesn't give you that feeling that I'm home, right? So this is what they do. They navigate that journey. So if you are going to move into a senior community, they show up the morning of a Friday morning, and that Friday night, you walk into that apartment at a senior community, and it is decorated, designed exactly how you want. The pictures are hung, the electronic, the TVs on the wall. I don't even call it TVs anymore. I don't even know if we call them TVs, whatever we call them. And everything is done, and you just enjoy. So again, I can give you more information on that. Oh, giving things away. We're talking about charitable giving. Be very careful with that. They don't take what they used to. They're being so much more picky during the COVID era. But if you do have a favorite charity and they are willing to literally come to your house and pick certain things up that you want to give to them, go for it. Estate sales. Again, that is a case-by-case basis. If you think you have enough to warrant an estate sale, there are, again, tiers of levels of that. So there are folks that will do very high-end estate sales where they want to generate about $50,000 to $60,000 of gross revenue before they will even come and entertain the idea of doing an estate sale at your home. And then there are some estate sale companies where the threshold is much lower. There's maybe $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 of gross sales that they will then go, okay, we will come and do that. The split is anywhere between 40%, 50% to the house and the rest to you in terms of you do an on-site estate sale. The other option is consignment, is a consignment sale. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. And estate sale being the highest level, consignment, and then obviously a clean out. So you don't know until you have various parties come into your house and decide what is the most cost-effective one for you. Now, again, if you bring an estate sale person to your home, the first question they are going to ask you is, well, what's staying behind? What are you taking? And what's going to be left here after you move to the senior community or after you want to sell the home? So again, they can't give you any kind of feedback until they know what's there. So again, the idea of doing a giveaway to the family members ahead of time, so you kind of reduce the number of items in the home and then have an idea of what you're taking to the new home or a senior community. Now the items that are in with a green tag or whatever the color may be are the items that are going to stay behind. And an estate sale individual company can then assess monetary value as to what's going on. Okay. Selling your home, living in your home, prepping for sale. Again, in my perfect world, if you can monetarily and financially afford to move first and then let us prep the home for sale, the level of value of that home is greatly going to increase the possible cost of having two homes at the same time. It's just proven over and over again. I understand it may not be the way you want to do it, but I'm just going to talk about that way initially, is that if you can move first and then sell, then we as the Greenwald Gerke Realty team can come in and get that home ready in advance to kind of change it around a little bit for today's marketplace to increase the value. If it's going to cost you $10,000 to $15,000 to refurbish, rehab it, or maybe extra cost of having two homes, can we get an extra $40,000 or $50,000 on the selling of that property? And we think that's the way to go, but it's not a mandatory way to go. The other thing that we are announcing for UCSD Retirement Association members is the ability to upfront much of the cost, so that if you want to move and you want to do certain things to the home, we will literally give you a home equity line of credit that doesn't charge any interest and no tack on to profit margins of the contractors we use or anybody else. All we will do is sign a contract that says on the close of escrow, we will be paid back for those items, those cost items that we incurred, such as painting, flooring, even if you want us to pay 1 month's upfront cost when you move to a senior community, if you don't want to liquidate any assets, we'll pay that as well. The 1 month cost of an apartment at a senior community, obviously under the restrictions and conditions apply, that upon the sale of the home, we get reimbursed for those type of expenses. And again, we can talk about that in greater detail. But we think that's in the bottom line, at the end of the day, you will net a lot more money under those scenarios. So prepping the home versus living in the home for sale. If you're going to live in the home while you try to sell it, obviously the idea is to come in and get that declutterization done a little bit, maybe remove some of the furniture, and you can pack the garage as much as you want. Nobody buys or sells a home over how packed a garage is, but they do judge their pricing off of how they feel when they walk into the home. So you may have to some of those chairs that you've had, or some of those small couches or big tables, you may have to pack them into the garage for if you're going to live in the home and try to sell it at the same time. Also, showing the home. We highly recommend that we don't want you there, but we don't want people just coming into the home at any hour of the day. Under those conditions, we really want to work with you so that somebody, if you do decide to use the Greenwald Gerke team, or whoever you decide to use, somebody from that listing team is there at the home for all showings. Because today's world, things get taken out of home. So we really have to monitor all the things in your home, making sure everything is secure, checkbooks, jewelry, if you're going to live in the home and try to sell it, that anything of value at all, whether it's monetary value, personal value, precious value, is securely hidden away so that people can't take it. Knowledge and facts equal leverage. I'm going to try to finish it up so I see about we have 27 minutes. So home inspections, budget, prioritize repairs and fixes. We believe, again, the way to get the greatest value for the sale of your personal residence is to get the leverage on your side prior to listing the home. What happens is too many cases where you list the home for sale, you get an offer that's in today's market is way over your expectations. Then that buyer does a home inspection and finds things wrong that you either knew about but didn't want to talk about, or you did not even know about. And now they come back to you, you're in escrow, you've got this price way up here, and they want to lower that price based on the findings of the buyer's home inspection. Well, how to reverse that? You, as the seller, do the home inspection, the sewer inspection, and the termite inspection up front, and post it for everybody to see and say, here is what we know about the property. We're not fixing anything, or we agree to fix A, B, and C. We are not going to do D, E, and F. Do your pricing and your contingencies accordingly. And now you create a leverage on your side where if there is a multiple offers, which in today's market, as today right now there are, you have the leverage to pick and choose who you want to play ball with in terms of driving that price higher rather than trying to negotiate down. So that's the idea of what we call pre-listing home knowledge. Prioritize what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what you're willing to do, and how you want to move forward on the sale of your home. Curb appeal, fresh and bright, minimalist, depersonalized. You don't have to totally depersonalize. If you got 100 pictures of the grandkids, maybe take it down to 10 pictures of the grandkids. If you got 100 pictures of the furry creature, take it down to about 10 pictures. I have about 1,000 pictures of our dog everywhere. If I were to sell the house, we need to lower those expectations. Staging, and there's a thing called now virtual staging. So I am going to go to chat. Okay, then we go to the top here. Oh,
they're all my messages in there.
Oh, they're all your messages. Okay,
Yeah,
Linda.
yeah.
Thank you for posting. Go to the chat. Linda Gerke, she is fabulous. We've had the incredible honor to have lunch with her several times. She's totally committed to the long-term care. I can't stress that enough. Belmont Village, Merrill Gardens, you put in that. Here's the leave number. She and the offer.
I posted the list of questions for everybody.
Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't get that on mine. So any questions?
Ron, this was an absolutely fabulous presentation. One of the best you have ever done. I'm really impressed. So, I mean, I just think we're offering such an incredible panoply of choices, information, so that people can make their choices armed with all the best information. Open it up to members. Is there anything that he didn't cover? I don't know that there would be, but please feel free to ask if you have a question.
And again, we are always email us, Suzanne and I, we have a 10, 11 year work. We are always willing to give you the greatest resources. And you have, as I say, Suzanne has put together a team for estate planning, financial planning, long-term care. She has everybody in her quiver and we think they're all amazing. And we're very excited about this opportunity, but we're always here to answer questions and give you good information. It's very passionate for us. I always end it with this note, is that Patti and I and Katie and the entire team, every time we walk into someone's home, and we walk into homes, and it could be your neighbor, it could be right in the most exclusive areas of San Diego, and you walk into the home and you just start crying because people did not have information to know who to reach out to help them live in a healthy capacity in their home, and you just see too much distress. And so we're here to help you. Again, you may know somebody, a family, a friend who is isolated, with dignity, who's isolated. They don't get out of their pajamas till 3 PM. You don't see food. You see, they don't let you, when they don't let you in the house, that's a huge sign that something's going on, and so I just ask you, we can give you resources to call that maybe do a wellness check. And we're not trying to intrude. We're not trying to do any of that other than to get them support for a healthy lifestyle with dignity. So I will shut up on my.
All right, and then I just last pitch for those of you, even if you're thinking of remaining in your home, it's a good idea to attend one of these community visits, because it gives you a way of comparing and contrasting. The old thing we were taught back in college, compare and contrast. So go out and take a look at one of these communities, participate in one of our tours, which is really a no-risk opportunity to take a close look at that. And then you can go home and think it through, I think, even better. So with that, I'm going to close here. Thank you so much, Ron. This was truly a fabulous presentation.
We thank you.
Happy. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do for us.
And I will see some of you on Tuesday, I hope.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.